Okay, family. Family. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see. We had a good group going too, man. I'm really hoping I don't jump into another black hole. We're gonna see. Okay, so part of my eye makeup's on. It's on the first live. I look like a bit of a hot mess. Gosh, what a mess. Okay, what a lovely family mess. Oh, you ever have that one member of the family that doesn't work, so should always be available? But I'm working. Mondays, I'm gonna have to fill my family in on my work schedule. Mondays, between 8 and 10, not available. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So hi, hello, how are you, Amanda? We're gonna try our makeup again. I've got part of my eyeshadow on. There is a live with part of it. And I apologize. So we're gonna get started. I kind of feel like I just need to whip on my eye makeup and let's talk about the face. Heard my dog, okay. And I'm kind of playing with showing how to do eye lift, and then my family called and I started doing the rest of my makeup. So things are just a little different right now. So if you have questions on what I've used so far, feel free to ask. I've got basic from lash to brow bone with a bit of drift. And then I put the shade of the month on the mid of my lid, which is Ring. Good morning. And I am going to be doing a couple of things that help me give my eye some lift, width, and just change the shape. I'm 43, things just settle differently. And so I do these little tips and tricks that help. And I've added a little bit of depth on the outer part of my lash line because it helps give my eye a little bit of lift. And now I'm gonna add a waterline. I don't use anything fancy. I like cost-effective makeup. That's my jam. I don't want to break the bank. I don't like spending $35 on a single foundation color that can only do one thing. Good morning, Brandy. Yay, a familiar face. Okay. And for me, finding things that are affordable are key. Things that if it's going to be pricey, it better be good. If it's going to be pricey, it better be good. I am going to be using an inexpensive and a bit more expensive. This is a Stila Stay All Day, and I love this. This is a great eyeliner. It does stay really well unless you cry or get caught in the rainstorm. It's not waterproof, but it does stay all day, just like it says. Don't get the one with the white tip. If it looks like a magic wand, don't get it. I am going to put a link to it on my link tree after this. It's really great. But then for my waterline, I just use a Maybelline Tattoo Studio pencil and it works like a dream. And then I'm going to use my brightening highlight. So I do like Saint Makeup. It's $16 a color. That's really affordable for a really great foundation that does piece together and it gives a really pretty finish. And you're going to see I have stuff, I have texture, I have scarring, I've got stuff, and I like I like the finish and longevity I get with Saint Makeup. So I talk about Saint Makeup a lot. I can do a color match, you just need to send me a makeup free selfie. So we're gonna dig in because I feel like I've got some people here. I do have part of my eyeshadow on. Again, there is a first live that got interrupted because my family seemed to think there was a need. It was not a need to talk to me. All right, I am on Do Not Disturb. It is, okay. We got some weird. There we go. We're going to take care of some things. Okay. As always, be kind, be appropriate, or you won't be here. Okay. Maybelline Tattoo Studio. I only use this for my waterline and it does transfer, but I am going to use my brightening highlight. After I apply it, I just like it to blink on a bit to blink off the excess. That's the best way I can describe how I do it. My lashes don't grow into the mid. So I did take a color called Cocoa. This is my palette today, minus the pink. I have this color right here. This is Basic, and I put that from my lash line up, pressed it in with a nice dense brush, and then I have Cocoa right on my outer lash line to give my eye a bit of lift. I'm gonna take my little pencil here, we're just gonna waterline on the top. I do this because it fills in my lashes and it gives my upper eye line a bit of definition. I don't go to the inner corner, I go about 3/4 over. And this is, again, I'm pressing into the lash line and onto the waterline. This takes getting used to, but I do this because it's gonna help give the illusion my eyeliner, when I do put it on, is gonna go all the way across. I used Cocoa on my inner lash line, right here on the inner corner. It just gives a touch of a soft definition rather than an eyeliner, which is a bit more harsh, and it can shrink the eye. So using something soft just will look a little bit more natural. I'm gonna take my Stila Stay All Day. It's a good felt tip. If you can find a felt tip that does this, where it's not a brush and it's not a hard pen, and it will apply with a bit more control. I'm gonna zoom in a bit. We're gonna go in, I'm not gonna go super crazy on the zoom in, but I'm gonna go about 1/4 of the way in on my lash line, and I'm gonna come off the lash line and draw straight out. I'm hooded, so you see how I have this little bit of a hood out here. It's quite deceiving. A lot of people think I'm not hooded from the front, but as I turn, you can see I keep my wing within this tiny little space. I don't go outside of that. It looks like a bat wing, and it is not the season for that. All right, we're gonna go straight out, and we're gonna stay within that fold. I'm gonna come about 1 millimeter up from the corner of my eye, and I'm gonna meet that wing, and then we can fill it in. And we go to the lash line and over, to the lash line and over. Okay? And we can keep it here, and I keep it tiny, tiny but mighty. It stays within that fold, and it doesn't pull my eye down, because I stated if I drew outside or went into this fold, it would pull my eye down, and we don't want to do that. So I keep it within that fold, and I keep it up and tight, because it's going to give my eye the illusion of a lift. You can make it as thick as you want, play with it, build out, draw a basic tiny but mighty line, and build up to your comfort level, but just adding that little bit of depth with the cocoa that I have over here, and then I draw in that line within it, it adds a touch of lift. Does that make sense? Okay, we're gonna do the same thing over here, 1/4 of the way in. We just draw straight out. This pen, this felt tip pen, works very well with mature eyes. If you feel that it's just a little too harsh, you can absolutely use a couple different brushes. You could use the square end of the smudge brush or etch brush. You can use the small end of a multitasker brush. You could use the line brush that comes with a spoolie. And you can use eyeshadow. Get the eyeshadow wet, and it will be deep and dark. You can don't use Black Friday. It's a cream. It doesn't set. It will transfer. I don't recommend it. But there is a black eyeshadow, Salem, or any black eyeshadow will work, but get the brush wet, and it will go on like an eyeliner. And just keep it in mind that eyeliners are like brows. They're sisters, not twins. You'll never get them exactly the same. And you just build it out until you're happy. But using this pen, you just get a lot of control. But I like a tiny but mighty wing. Okay, and go to the lash line. But it just adds that it's gonna give your eye a touch of lift. Okay, we're gonna go in to our highlight colors. Here are mine. And I am gonna use my which one is my lightest shade? I'm gonna use my lightest shade right here. Okay, we're gonna go in to my etch brush on the square end. I'm gonna grab a little bit on, just a bit, and we're gonna waterline down here. So we just add it to the waterline, nice and light. This is gonna open up the eye, and I like using nothing too bright, but you just add a little bit of cream. And when I add my eyeshadow under my eye, I only go in the middle. I leave this side open and this side open. And it's just gonna give my eye that smokiness that I like, but because I have maturing eyes, it's gonna give it the illusion that it's a bit more open. We're gonna grab some mascara. I'm using a new one. It is not my typical Bare Minerals because it needs a replacement, but I got Babe Lash For Real Mascara. I got their serum for lashes, so I can hopefully get some dang lashes. And it's a good, I do like it. I do like the old school bristles. This has a plastic one, but we are going to add our mascara now that we've added all of this. And once I add all my makeup, it kind of pulls the eyeshadow together. I did a tutorial and I posted it just 2 days ago, and it's an eyeshadow one that shows this method in a really beautiful form. Please go watch it. It's a good one. And if you like watching my videos, my lives are always long. They're always at least an hour, but I answer a lot of questions. If you want swatches, there's going to be swatches. And just ask. You got to ask. If you have questions about why I do things, what I'm using, anything, ask within reason. And I'm very active as an artist. If you want to be color matched, I'd love to match. Love for you to subscribe. I do use the community tab to try to give heads up if things are changing or if I'm going to be going live or if my lives are going to change. But I would love a good subscribe button hit. Okay, it is a way that I support my family. But we just are going to add this mascara because my lashes are short and not super full, as you can see. I'm staying zoomed in on this just so you can kind of see the things because I get into some nitty gritty between now and then. I always work when I put on my mascara on building the root area more than thickening the tips of the bristles. This will make my eyelashes look like they're fuller than they are just because there's a lot of product, and I always wiggle into the root and pull up, but I just don't worry about the ends quite yet. And I just keep building and building, and then we can get that lower lash line. I never apply to the lower lash line right out of the tube. And then I can go and do my second coat, and I just flip the tips and it helps build the length a little bit, but it doesn't give you those tarantula eyes that we're always trying to avoid. I've seen those tarantula eyes, but once you add your mascara, and trying to use words, I added a little bit to the inner with eyeliner. I added a little eyeliner on this inner corner, and then I added some depth up here at the top with cocoa and then an eyeliner. It gives lift. I always miss the middle. I waterlined, but once you add your mascara, it gives the illusion that this eyeliner does go all the way across, and adding that brightening on the waterline opens the eye up a bit. All right, we can get into the face now. Hang on just a second. Okay. Again, within reason. We're going to get into my stuff. I'm staying zoomed in because I have scarring, I have hyperpigmentation. Understanding texture is texture. So I don't do, as you can see, my forehead has a lot of movement. My eyebrows have a lot of, I move, my face moves. I don't have all the things in my lips and my face and my cheeks and in anything. Okay, I'm 43. I always like to put that full disclosure in here. Okay, yes, thank you. I was hoping you were going to pop on, Desiree. And so I am going to swatch those for you really quick, but I want to make sure you were here. And so with that, understanding texture is texture. You can't make a mountain a plain. And to expect to not have poor texture under eye puffing, everybody has a skull and texture. And understanding that we don't have to accentuate it, but we can't erase it. And so we can only do our best. So we want Peppa. I love Peppa. It is my favorite if I can. I know Emerald City is in here. I love Emerald City. Is this one it? Yes. Emerald City is so pretty. And then I have Peppa in my palette here from, I haven't unpacked my vacation palette. I always take a big dog on vacation. And it's just so darn good. I like Peppa this much. Look at that. I like it a lot. And I have Tawanda. Okay. So Tawanda can be super punchy, but it can also be really light. So I'm going to swatch Peppa. Yeah, whoops, really zoomed in. Here is Peppa. It's not super flecky, and it's just a nice soft pinky peach. It's more pink than peach, I think, but that's probably debatable. But it's so pretty, very shimmery. And then here is Emerald City for you. This is a shimmer. It's a soft shimmer, but it has the same style flex. So if you're wondering about what the flecks are like, they're like this. They're a nice fine fleck. If you have really mature lids, These kinds of soft flecks are really great because they play with the texture of your lids. And your lids can make things look more shimmery than they are. Okay, now I've swatched, and now I'm gonna get into the makeup as soon as I put green away. I should play with that one, it's so pretty. Okay, stuff. I have oily skin, and so I use Milk Hydro Grip wherever it may be. Did I leave it upstairs? So if you don't have a primer, we're gonna use, I think it's upstairs in my bag from my trip. How did I do that? Oh, goodness. Okay. The video is pixelating. Watch it on the replay. It shouldn't be pixelating, but it's nice. It's soft. I'll send you a picture. Hold on. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. I'll send you a picture. Hold on. I got to get to a page that doesn't have other writing on it. Stand by. We're going to write notes. Amanda's making notes. Okay. Peppa and Emerald City. Got it. Done. Okay. I don't have my primer with me. Really kind of ticked about it. We're going to take, this is the, I'm going to zoom out for just a minute. The POREfessional Super Setter. Using a setting spray is a great way to prep if you don't have it. I typically use Milk Hydro Grip. Again, this is what happens when I take a trip. So I'm just going to spray my face to prep. Done. And then I'm going to knock some things over. I'm going to get into my setting powder. I'm oily, and this is how I'm going to make, because I don't have my primer, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take setting powder and I'm going to go over my oily areas, which is mainly my forehead and my cheeks right here. So I'm going to prep, and I'm going to let my oil absorb. When I think it's empty, I'm just going to go everywhere else. Okay. Adding setting spray and then primer. Okay, you got to run. Catch you later. I will message you. Okay. We're going to add for color correcting. I love the blend brush. I'm going to use one brush today, and I'm going to clean it really quick because it's gross. So just grab our setting, or not setting spray, our brush cleanser. This stuff is like magic. It is a dry clean. So you spray the brush, and then you just rub it into a microfiber cloth or a paper towel. I prefer a microfiber cloth. Paper towels just absorb the product way too much, and then you don't get as much, but it's just so good at cleaning, and it's dry and ready to use. Just gonna rub some of this off. Okay, I'm gonna use the detail brush. It's a good medium coverage brush. I love it for my whole face, but really getting into contouring, this is such a good brush. It's a good quick brush, and this small end is so good for your under eyes. Okay, I'm gonna use my regular color correctors. It's these three colors right here. I have Aspen, it's a gray contour. I have Suede Lip and Cheek. This is very close to my hyperpigmentation spots and freckles. And then I'm going to use Frenchie for the darkness under my eyes. And these three together work magic, but really the key is using something dense, and it's going to hold whatever blush color I put on. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the small end of the detail brush, I'm going to go into Aspen, and we're going to go over my scarring and a bit of my rosacea that I have going on. I have broken capillary. I'm going to just get in and nitpick my face for you. So I don't need help. Nobody will ever critique your face better than you. You will see things that nobody even thought twice about, but the end result of your makeup is entirely up to you and what you like out of your makeup. And so whatever opinion somebody has of your makeup, if you're happy in it, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Keeping that in mind, okay? Your look is your call, and it's whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. I wear my makeup for me, no one else. No one else. All right, so I have Aspen, and I'm gonna go over my scarring and if I have any hormonal breakouts. And I just sweep this over the redness really lightly. It doesn't need to be a heavy hand. I have a little bit of redness from the summer, and it just erases it. You shouldn't be turning your face a shade of gray. You should still see your imperfections. I should still see my scars, but the tone is down. So again, taking Aspen, and I have this little bit of redness, and the tone is gonna go away. The scarring is still gonna be there. going over that, broken capillaries. So my problems are still there, but the redness is gone. Okay, I have some redness right here, and we're just gonna sweep over it, and we're gonna mute it down. And using this, it's gonna help with pores that I have. I have some larger pores in this area right here where my rosacea is, and then I just have redness here. This helps with pore camouflaging. We're not getting rid of the pores. They're still gonna be there. They're just not gonna be as accentuated. And then I have my scarring that's showing, but it's just not crazy red. But my skin is not gray. It should be a light amount. I'm gonna switch to the bigger end. I'm gonna go into my suede lip liner, and I have my hyperpigmentation here. I'm gonna go around it, and then I have some growing up like ivy. I'm 43, it is what it is. And I'm just gonna sweep this around, and I'm gonna camouflage it. And I find right here, stippling is best because I have a lot of movement in this area. And so I just stipple it into the temple, and then right here I can swirl if I want. It's what, you know, if your skin moves a lot, stippling helps, but it helps to camouflage. And because these colors are dense, when we lay our makeup on top, our blush, our foundation color, it's gonna hold it there. And we're gonna talk about how to lay makeup on top of our correctors. But using a dense color, I've got hyperpigmentation, I've got stuff coming in, and then I also want balance. So we're gonna hide that hyperpigmentation. We're gonna bring it up the temple. We're just gonna swirl this over for balance. I'm putting it up here just to balance this side right here. And I'm just stippling this over some of my scarring and some of my hyperpigmentation, and that's it. And it's camouflaged, but these are dense colors that are gonna hold my makeup on. And that's what I want out of my makeup. Now my under eyes, I have darkness on my inner corners. I also have my crow's feet and my fine lines, because again, 43. And to help hide that, I use balm. I think it's $18 for the balm, and it's also really nice for your lips. You can use it for your lips. My son would get really dry in his nose area. You can tap that on if you have dry spots. If you have dry skin and there's areas that are just a little extra flaky, you can tap balm over those areas. And I'm gonna grab that here, and I'm gonna go under my eyes. It's gonna help with fine lines and settling. It just makes it a nice soft area. If your under eyes are also very dry, or if you just have dry skin in general, I would prep with this also. It will help reduce texture. And that's really all we're trying to do, is we're trying to apply our makeup without adding texture. And ick. Name of the game is ick. I'm gonna go into my Frenchie color. This is a great tool. It's a blush, it's a lip color, and it's something that does so many things. And I'm gonna press this right here on my inner corner, and then I'm gonna spread it out. Okay, it's gonna be a shade of peach. This is very trendy right now, where people just add blush to this area anyways, but it's working to reduce the darkness that's on my inner corner. Okay, grabbing a little bit of that Frenchie, and we're just gonna spread it thin under the eye. I like using my finger. It works better than a brush. It just gets into that skin, and the warmth of your skin just makes it simple. There's Demi. If you're looking for an artist that loves Demi, it is not me. I think Demi is a bit overpriced, and it just, for what I want out of my makeup, I like makeup. I like wearing a good medium coverage makeup. It makes me feel good, and I like the look of makeup. I think makeup is beautiful. However you wear it, like, I have a deep appreciation when I see somebody with makeup and they just look lovely. I tell them, I may not even know them. I've rolled my window down and yelled at people. I don't care. I love when somebody does their makeup and it looks great. And I can tell they feel good. Tell them it's okay. Okay, I have all of my correctors on. Right now, there is a sale, 10% off. Apparently, it's National Honey Month or something, Honey Appreciation Month. We have an illuminator. It is a gold tone. It's super pretty, and I like cream illuminators, but again, I have oily skin. I don't put illuminators on top of my makeup. Honey is 10% off for the entire month, and I'm gonna tap this right here around my eye, under my makeup, and I put it on pretty good. And when I'm going over my cheek here, I'm tapping it because I have my correctors, but I'm hitting that high point of my cheek, and around. I'm gonna hit my nose on the middle and on the tip. We're gonna get the Cupid's bow. I'm gonna hit right here too. This is gonna be under our makeup, and then you can even add a little bit to that inner corner of your eye, under the makeup, okay? But 10% off, so 10% off is $16. So they're already a really reasonable price. Now it's 10% off, and it's a little bit more reasonable. Okay, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do our makeup. When you're putting your makeup on with Saint makeup, so this is Saint cream base 3D foundation, get yourself a proper color match. You can self match. I still recommend a proper color match. These are such good colors. They will last just as long as traditional makeup because they're 80% pigmentation. Traditional makeup is 18% pigmentation, so it's a lot more pigmented, which means you need less makeup to get the same look. So if you are a full coverage makeup person, you're gonna put this on more like a light to medium coverage. Otherwise, you're gonna look like a birthday cake. And I'm gonna say that because I did look like a birthday cake when I first started using Saint. It's a learning curve, 100%. I'm gonna take the big end of this brush and I'm gonna go in. Right now I'm using 3 highlight colors because I'm transitioning from my summer shade to fall. And I'm using these 2 colors, which is Hazel and Mango. I'm gonna tap into both just to lighten up Mango because I'm not as light as Hazel, but I'm definitely not as dark as Mango. So I tap into both, and I'm only gonna put this on the beard of my face. I focus on balancing this portion of my face. See how pretty that matches? There's no filter. I don't do filters. I think they're misleading. And I think people who use filters when they're playing with makeup, well, I just think it's an ethical thing. Don't use filters when you're playing with makeup. Let people see your skin. I'm going to tap into both and lightly go over my scarring. And I'm tapping this on because, again, I have pores, but I also have scarring, but I have my correctors on. And I don't want to mess with my correctors, so I just stipple this over my scarring. And this is the only place I apply my main highlight. And I'm working that into my chin, and then I'm going to bring it down. There's this little piece right here that doesn't see the light of day, so I'm going to use my main highlight. I'm going to go into Mango, and I'm just going to bridge my neck to my body because right now my body and my face are a nice color, and there's this little bit that's too light. And so I'm just bringing it down. Your makeup shouldn't end at your jawline or you're going to have an orange line, truly. But it just takes what doesn't look terrible, it just balances and it just looks nice. So again, tapping into Mango, and I think it's Hazel. Mango Hazel. Let's see. Yeah, Mango and Hazel. Good, I did it. Okay, and we're just gonna balance right here. Look at how nice that is. It just looks like it's erasing. And I like that you can talk to me. We can come up with, my palette isn't your palette. And I like helping people customize a palette to look the way they want it to look to get the result that they want. I don't ever want you filling your palette with a bunch of things you may not use. I want your palette filled with your favorite things. It's like buying those Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes and it's like 100,000 shades of brown. What if you could just customize it with just those 2 colors you actually use out of that palette? And I don't like when I have to buy, there was Anastasia Beverly Hills had a contour palette. I have it somewhere. I'm just not going to dig it out for this. But I had to buy 6 shades to use 2. And I hated that. I want your palette full of the colors you want to get the result you want out of your makeup. And you can try Merit. It's a great cream product. It's a little bit slicker, less pigmented, but it's a tube in a bag and everything is just right here. And it makes getting ready faster. To me, it takes me a long time during these because, well, crap, I talk a lot. I talk a lot, but I just balance out my scarring here. Just a little bit, and then I'm balancing my skin tone and then bringing it down. And that's it for my main highlight, okay? I'm gonna move to this lighter color here. This is my brightening highlight. We're gonna put it right here. This should be too light for your skin, so you can see the light reflecting off my forehead. That's what a brightening highlight is. That's kind of what your concealer is. And we're just gonna bring this down the mid of the brows, and then I'm just gonna press this out over my brows, and I'm gonna underblend this. You're gonna see this line. Okay, we're gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna do my nose in a minute. We're gonna add just a little bit, and I'm just gonna hit the Cupid's bow. This is a beautiful area. And then right here on the chin, this is where light naturally reflects off your face. So I'm using a brightening highlight to accentuate it. And it's also gonna highlight this really pretty area of the lip, okay? I'm gonna do my nose in just a minute. I'm gonna go into, I've been using bronzer to contour. I'm very warm right now, and contours just pull too gray on me. Again, this is part of, we used to contour with bronzer all the time. I'm using Xanadu. It will be a permanent color at the end of the year. I'm gonna take Xanadu and I'm gonna apply this over on either side of my forehead. Okay, pushing it into my hairline, and then I'm gonna bridge it together right here. It's lovely, okay? It's lovely, I like it a lot. It's become my new favorite bronzer. And then I'm gonna switch to this small one. We're gonna take that brightening that I underblended. We're just gonna push this up and into that bronzer. Super pretty, nice and balanced. As they merge together, they just create that foundation color. You don't need to turn your whole face one color and then restructure it. But now I have structure, I have balance, and I have dimension in pretty much one nice layer of makeup. And these just live, the way my skin looks like skin and it lives with it rather than on it is why I like this makeup. That's why I talk about, I love cream makeups. I like having it all in one place too. I'm gonna grab my Xanadu, and then I'm gonna pop over here, and I'm gonna go in to that suede, and I'm just gonna cool it down a little, and I'm gonna go right above my natural shadow and onto my cheekbone and up that temple. I'm gonna smile so I can kind of see. As you mature, you lose volume in your cheeks. And again, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Love to have you. Okay, going into Xanadu and then going into suede again. And we're gonna go natural shadow above. Okay, above, it's gonna give us that lift that we want. I'm doing my eyebrows last because I always screw them up when I'm doing this. And I'm just tapping this around, and it gives me just a little kick in the butt, which is what I like. Boom, super simple. I'm gonna use my suede lip liner, and I'm gonna use this on my nose. And I just overcorrect. I draw a line up the side. I have a bump, so I overcorrect. You can even use your finger. You just rub it in onto your finger, and then you can just press that up and towards, follow that natural shadow. Sometimes the finger is just easier. Just easier. We're going down the nose. We're going to square off the tip, and I'd put that illuminator right there, and it's going to just kind of play with it. And I bridge it together in the middle. This is going to help hide that bump, and then I can take my brush and I can just give everything a little marrying. Pressing in, pressing across, okay, squaring off that tip. We're gonna go into the small one. We're gonna go into that lightest shade. This is what's nice about having it all in one place. Wouldn't this be nice more than a makeup bag? I mean, We're gonna take that, we're pinching this. We're just gonna go right down the middle of the nose here. And this will straighten it out. If you have a crooked nose or a bump like I do, this is the best. And then I'm just gonna use my finger to tap it out. And that's how I like it the most. Sweep it back and forth right here. And just using your finger will help pick up the excess and just meld it. If I use a brush to blend it out, I find it blends it out too wide and it makes my nose look wider. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm gonna do my under eyes last because sometimes I get a little out of hand with my blush. I'm gonna use that Frenchy color that I put under my eyes. I'm gonna go right here over my scarring, and I'm tapping it with my finger. I like a really nice punchy blush, but it pulls my scarring through. So I use Frenchy to blend it down into. I'm gonna use Sandstone because it's fall and it is my favorite. But because it's fall and a little bit of warmth still, we're gonna put a touch of pink with it. Because I can. I like mixing other colors and just making it their own. I'm gonna go into this bright pink with this orange. And this is pink grapefruit. I'm just gonna put it right there. We're gonna have it go with this orange color. But using these two colors can grab my scarring and can pull it through. So having that Frenchie here is key. I'm gonna take my brush, all right? We're gonna just smile. You wanna see where your apples are, especially if you're maturing like I do. We're just gonna blend these together, and then I'm gonna bring it down to that Frenchie quickly. And that's it. And we could just tap, tap, tap. But I always like to see where my apples are. So it takes it from this to this. It blends like a dream. It's the easiest foolproof makeup. I always say there's a learning curve, but there's a learning curve to any makeup. I mean, remember when you first got makeup, trying to figure all that out, and then they started introducing contouring? I used to use eyeshadow as a contour, little CoverGirl eyeshadow, but we're just gonna blend this around up to the temple, smiling, blending these together, then come down to that Frenchie, lightly. Look at how pretty that is. And then I had that honey under it, and it just gives it a little wonder. It gives it just some wonder, okay? I'm gonna grab my Suede again, that lip liner. We're gonna go under the lip. This is gonna give our lip a little fullness. I don't do a lot, just a little. This is gonna put a shadow down here and make it look like my lip has a curl. I'm gonna take what's left and I'm gonna go over. We're gonna go Gomez Adams here. And this is gonna make it look like we have a curl up here too. I think a truck just got here. My house is being painted, so who knows? Boom. Do you see how it has that little definition? And I have that honey illuminator right here. And it just is a pretty area. We're switching to that small end. We're gonna go into that brightening, and we're gonna make a greater than, less than alligator. Like math. Remember math? Alligator. We're gonna tap it out so it doesn't look like we ate a donut, but this is gonna give us a clean lip. It's also gonna give us definition and contrast for the lip color we pick, whatever that is, I don't know yet. And we're going around, we're just tapping it out outside, so it goes outside of that contour I put on. And it just gives it a little bit more of that pucker rather than that like gaping fish full lip. You know that look. We know that look. I am going to line my lips with Fig. I like Fig. It's not available in. Let's go to Renaissance. Renaissance is the same as Fig. It's just a satin, so it looks nice and dry. I'm just going to grab some with this brush. This is the multitasker brush. I like using the big end to line. Don't outer line. Just line your lips. Okay, I always start in the middle and I work my way out, but I don't ever go to the absolute corner. It will pull your lip down. Just don't worry about it. But Renaissance is one of these really dark, deep colors, but you can put it on nice and light and then it blends out and it's nice. It's a really great fall color and it's always available. And if you missed out on Fig because it went away after yesterday, just add a little balm and you're good. Add a little balm. I like a nice plum outline. I put it on nice and thick. Just like that. Really simple. And then I just kind of feather out my Cupid's bow. Everybody has their way they like their lip. And sometimes you just got to spend a little extra time on it. I'm going to go into that Frenchie color. I'm going to fill it in and then just blend it out. Look at how pretty that is. So pretty for fall. Super pretty for fall. Renaissance and Frenchie is lovely. And my lips look fuller. Who knew? We're gonna do the under eyes. I'm gonna use the small end of that detail brush I've been using. We're gonna go into that lighter color. And I start, do you see this little shine right here? We're gonna go into the happy basket because it shows up when we're happy, because we're smiling. So the happy basket. And we're gonna work our way up and into that inner corner here. Okay, we're staying outside of my texture. So my texture, I have my fine lines darting out. I got some crow's feet over here. We're gonna grab a little more and I'm just gonna clean up right here. We wanna live on this orbital bone. So I've covered my darkness on my inner corner here, and then I'm in my happy basket. We're just gonna follow this up outside of our texture to blend it out. See how pretty that is? And then we can blend it in to that soft tissue. This is like the hammock of the eye. Texture will always be there, but we're not going to accentuate it. And by adding too much product under your eye is going to accentuate your fine lines. It's gonna create crepiness, but that's why I like adding that balm underneath. And I only put the lightest amount. This, again, 80% pigmentation. And if you like that really low brightness, just keep bringing it down a little bit. I like doing it last. You get a little more control over where everything goes. Hello, Life is Life. I like that name. Hopefully you're nice. Because life is life, man. Everybody's got stuff. I got stuff, you got stuff, we all got stuff. Makeup has pulled me out of the dark. Sometimes just a good face of makeup is what's gonna make your day. All right, grabbing that brightening. Again, Happy Basket. And we're just gonna bring that up. All right, grabbing a little more. We're gonna clean up out here. But when you use a cream makeup, the way this just illuminates your skin is so nice. And I, again, because I'm oily, I don't add illuminator on top. I rarely ever use illuminator, but since Honey's on sale, I wanted to show you how I use it. But this cream makeup, it just puts a life back in your skin and you're like, oh, there you are. There you are. I was always looking for that makeup. I don't use a filter. I don't like filters, but when your makeup starts looking like those filters you've been trying to mimic, that's the product. And everybody just needs to find the makeup that works with their skin. Saint was what worked with my skin. I had the hardest time by noon. I hated my makeup. Now I get the longevity that I want, and my makeup just, it resets with just a tap of the finger. If you ever get movement, if you ever get creasing, you may be using a little too much, but it easily presses back out with your finger, and it feels like your skin, it feels hydrated and moisturized. It's an easy makeup. It's an easy makeup. All right, we're gonna set this because again, I'm oily, so I'm using the POREfessionals. This is by Benefit. Saint does have one. If you have dry skin, I would highly recommend Saint setting spray. For me, it makes me look too greasy, so I don't use it. But I do really like, I have an empty here. Charlotte Tilbury, also Urban Decay All Nighter. The De-Slick is my favorite. And then I like this one. I have a travel size. I've had this one for a long time. It was my gym bag setting spray. I don't love the sprayer. That's my only about it, but I love this stuff. And so I'm just gonna spray my face, and I like it to be damp. I like it to be damp because powder will always change the consistency of anything. Play-Doh, I make Play-Doh, so I know this, but Play-Doh, gravy, anytime you're trying to thicken a soup, we add starch, a powder. So I'm gonna take that powder and so it can thicken and change the texture. We're gonna stay away from our high texture. So mine is right between my brows, obviously under my eyes. There we go. Sorry. Well, clearly we're expiring on our time here. Okay, I'm just bringing this in, and when I think it's empty, think of glitter. Your brush is never without the powder once you put some on. When you think it's empty, you go onto those high texture areas around the nose, between the brows, and then under. You can go under the eyes. I don't like to apply powder directly to my under eyes. It's going to crepe, it's going to thicken, it's gonna make it textured. So just when you think it's empty, that's when you can place it. But as you can see, the super shine is gone, but the dewiness is still there from the makeup. And that's how I like my makeup to look. I'm gonna pop some brows on. I like a good structured brow, so stay with me. I don't do natural wet brows. I like this makeup look. The look of makeup, I like it. If you're somebody who doesn't, you don't have to do it like this. I've got a lot of tutorials. I'm gonna take my line brush. I use shadows, and then I have a brow wax. Yes, the brow wax will get gross. It's mine, it's fine. I'm gonna take a spoolie, and I'm just gonna comb my brows into shape. Get my hairs all in order here. We're gonna comb it out. I'm gonna take my angle brush. I go into the color Trust, and I'm gonna do a hard line. I'm gonna come in on this inner corner here. I come in where my brows typically start is right here, okay? I start mine about 2 millimeters in. I don't follow this thing. I bring it in closer, in more than my inner corner. I guess it's a rule you're not supposed to. Forget that. I don't think there's real rules. I think put your makeup on and then do it the way you like it. If that's a pencil thin brow, do it. Do it. It's your brows, it's your face. So I'm gonna draw a hard line across the bottom, and I'm gonna follow that arch. And then I like using a little tiny palette, which there is one available, and it is in this pattern. It's this shiny iridescent color. It is available right now. You can get it, and it's great. I love it. I love it for my brows because I can get all up in my biz and tap and tap and tap and tap. Okay, my brow ends here, but I take my color here and I keep going, and I make it longer. I don't really follow this rule either. I stop whenever I feel like it. It may go to my ear. I don't care. If I like it that way, I'll wear it that way. Come about a quarter of the way in, and then I draw a nice hard line. And once you figure out the way you like your brows to look, keep going and keep practicing, and you'll get faster and faster at it. And then I'm gonna flick right here, and that's where you can see how much more I come in. And then you're just gonna start blending it in. You're gonna blend that hard line in. You're gonna push this forward and blend it out. And then we're just gonna start filling in the brow between the outline we just drew. Just color it in. And then right here, you can just flick, 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 flick. I'm gonna take a setting spray. We're gonna spray the wax. It's activated by moisture. And we just swirl that spoolie around, and then we're gonna pick up excess product, and we're also going to put our hairs where we want them, and then they'll stay, hopefully. And that's how I draw my brows on, from here to here. From here, from this to this. I like a good structured brow, and it makes me feel confident, so that's why I do it that way. Not everybody likes it that way, and that's okay. That's okay. You can just fill in a couple of hairs. You can have it be more natural. You can have it be less structured, and you can just add those little flicks to the front. You could just already have really great, beautiful brows, but maybe the hairs get out of pocket. Grab that brow wax and spray it, and then set your hairs. Comb them into place, and that brow wax will keep them where they are. How much brow wax you use will determine the control it has on your hairs. I don't do a ton, but you can do those laminated brows with our brow wax. You just got to add more brow wax to the spoolie. So we're just flicking up at the front and then filling it in. And again, you get faster at it the more you do it. And again, I talk a lot, so there is that. Grabbing it, it's already activated, swishy, swishy, comey, comey. All right. And then I can compare the two. They're sisters, not twins. I'm just gonna flick, 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 flick. All right, that's my makeup. That's how I'm gonna wear my makeup for the day. Now I can go organize my fridge and go clean up my kids' rooms because they're in school now. So that's it. I did my makeup. I did it in 48 minutes plus some from the last one. But if you're wanting makeup that has longevity and stays with your skin, I think you should try a cream makeup. If you want an affordable cream makeup, Merit is $34 a color. Ours are $16. So if you're wanting to just try cream makeup and see how it works with your skin, because it is different than traditional makeup, it's definitely different than Bare Minerals powder, which was what I used to use. And then I started hybriding it with traditional makeup, and that was a lot. I had a lot of layers of makeup on. I did the full foundation, I did the concealer, I did the setting powder, I did the Bare Minerals powder. Then I would go in after all of that stuff, and then I would go and grab my powder contours, my blushes, my bronzers, and restructure my face. But everything in my palette right here is foundation. My blushes, my contours, my bronzers, my everything in here is a form of foundation. So you need less and you can get a really beautiful finish. I think this is a nice finish. I like that my makeup looks like my skin. Makeup will always look like makeup, but it should look like good makeup. How many makeup people don't use a filter and zoom in on their face? Your skin should still look like your skin, but it's not going to crease. And if it does, again, just press it out. Just press it out. But this is the finish of my makeup, and I think it looks nice. And a lot of makeup doesn't look like this at the end. You shouldn't look like a chalkboard. We don't need to do math on your face. This is Saint Makeup. I'd love to color match you. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to zoom back out again. But happy fall. This is a cute mug. I'm going to start off by saying don't ask for a link. It's terrible to drink out of. Unless you want it for decoration, then it's a great mug. But this is not a good mug to drink out of. But it's so cute. Anthropology. Anyways, I always get asked for a link to my pumpkin mugs. I used this mug for the first time today. Terrible to drink out of. Dips in too much. Anyways, that's it. That's my makeup. I will be here every Monday live for an hour. Bank on it. Okay, sometimes it goes over, but I will be here every Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, doing my makeup, answering questions, and that's it for this week. I will have tutorials coming out all week. Have a great day.